Tervepä terve, this is Finnish guy doing a Finnish metal review. Now jokes aside, welcome to Rauta, I'm Jerry and here we have a band called Valkeat for review. Now usually bands with maximum of 3 albums out, I would put this in underground true episode, but this time we have a special box and that's the reason why I'm actually having a dedicated video to this unboxing and review video for this particular album. Now before we get to take a look at this album, unbox, I guess it's worth telling the story about the name. Now, Valkeat is basically meaning whites. Like not leg whites, but like, valkoinen would be the right word for white. But Valkeat can really mean like something that is kind of like white or lit up, also like a candle. So when it's in plural form, Valkeat, it can really mean like flames or fires lit up. So it's a pretty cool name actually. I mean, because it has this interesting feeling to it, and it's not outright very common word. I mean, it's not fires, like not that common, because that would be tulet, but still, I mean, good name for a band. Now, this is a very, very interesting special box, quite lightweight. This doesn't really weigh much more than a jewel case, really, but looks nice, has a nice feeling. This is like carved here with the logo and all, and whatever is inside is already intriguing. Now, we have to snap this one open, and inside we will see what this limited edition stuff actually has. Now, mind you, I've opened this this didn't come with a wrap or anything like that, so I've been listening to this on CD, but decided, of course, to put it back in terms of unboxing. Now, this comes with a bracelet, and now I'm gonna unwrap it, because this is not something that I didn't have use for previously. So let's just open it. Brute force tactics. And this bracelet is here as a certain kind of a collector's item, I reckon. Made of, this actually smells like it's taken from a cellar or something. There's kind of like a, not moldy, but kind of like a very cellar-like feeling to it. And here it is, of course, bearing the logo of the band, which looks nicely. There are these nice details here with studs here, and of course then you have the piece where you can just put it together like this basically. Now let me see if I can handle it. I'm not gonna wear it right now, but yeah, this is pretty cool. And of course this fits the theme of the band, because I'll explain it. It's not your typical metal. So nice cigar box, if you will. Now this comes with a limited edition numbering, 300 copies, certificate of authenticity. Fireborn is the name of the album, and other side of this, not postcard, but card nonetheless, we have the signatures by the band. So all seems to give this band release quite a bit of value. Inside, the digipack is rather basic, not looking bad of course, but I mean there's nothing fancy about it. So I guess the normal digipack is exactly the same, but the packaging is something that makes it more, say, magical. Here you have some woods, the Trinity logo, Väinämöinen, a Finnish folklore character, I guess, playing an instrument. Underneath the CD, you will again see the Trinity logo or symbol here, not really a logo. And of course inside there is a booklet. This is a traditional symbol which you can see in Finland nowadays, meaning sightseeing places. But it has a older meaning, of course. Don't ask me for details, I wouldn't remember. And here you have all the liner notes, you have the vocalist, guitars, blah blah blah, recording information, and certain kind of a thank you information piece. Then you have lyrics inside, and these are kind of old school fun and all. Now, if you have already figured out, in case you haven't, I'll explain. For example, this Ukon Vasara is a little bit different from Thor's hammer, so this is definitely like the Finnish way of putting up like what Norwegians and Icelandic people are doing for Viking stories. So this is definitely diving deep into the world of Finnish folklore. And as such, this packaging, this CD, does a beautiful job in that. Now, of course, you're wondering at this point what the music is like, and that's where it gets tricky. Now, here on melodic side it says folk metal / rock, but I don't think it gives more like half the truth here, because in fact with the second album Fireborn, which was released earlier, I think August 2023, 6 years after the initial album, self-titled one, this band, now 10 years of age, coming from the capital area of Finland, is kind of putting together folk music, folk metal, folk rock, doesn't matter where you put it, and symphonic metal. Now there this gets tricky because it's also melodic metal, and by that I mean quite traditional ways. So it's like more like this album is made of 3 different ingredients or set of ingredients. That is the folkier parts, because you have classic folk instruments including kantele, a very traditional instrument in folk traditions in Finland. Then you have, of course, these rather basic melodic metal parts with, clean, soft vocals, definitely more on the rocker side of things rather than, well, extreme metal. So don't expect anything like melodic death metal or like that, but just, softly sung Finnish melodic metal with the more folkier parts. And then you have a lot of symphonic elements, and here where I have to get a little bit mean. Sometimes this album sounds like it's so badly trying to do Nightwish kind of a thing. I mean, there are lots of parts where it just sounds like a big-ass orchestrated, but then you ran out of budget or good songwriting. Don't get me wrong, some of the parts are really cool, but some of them are more like hollow, in the sense of like, I get you're trying to get big and you're trying to sound majestic, but you don't have the cool songs or songwriting parts there. Then, of course, this album has to have, unfortunately, way too lengthy parts where there's just too much talking about mighty Väinämöinen and this and mighty this and that guy. And while those kind of a bedtime story parts are, I don't know, okay when they're short, or maybe in the last song of the album where you just can pretty much click a stop. Now here they're in the middle of the album, and I'm like, yeah. You get that done once, and then you get like boring. Now there are female vocals, there are different parts, and there are folkier parts, and in the end, this 68 minutes of an album seems a little bit like a mess. I mean, it's like an identity crisis thing. It's like, on the other hand, I would like to go that way. But then again, I sometimes feel like I should go that way. But then again, why not I just turn back and go back where I came from? So you have a crossroads, and you have multiple directions you could go on, and you go a little bit to each direction. Get my meaning? So, as opposed to bands going a single style, kind of a traditional. Some bands go heavy metal way, some go death metal, some go black metal, trash, doom, whatever. This band goes a few steps to each direction, only to come back to the crossroads, trying another direction. So it sounds like a little bit schizophrenic in a way. Now, a lot of these ideas sound but unfinished. So I'm saying, basically, if this band had more focus rather than trying each direction for a few songs, maybe it would sound better. Also, I would say only a selected handful few bands can actually manage 68 minutes and keep the interest up so that it's actually really good. I mean, there are so many older bands, so many more experienced bands which have hard time to do 70 minutes of an album and sounding it like, yeah, I'm still interested. Keep that coming. These are no beers or pizzas. Eventually, like, okay, I'm stuffed. I mean, even the free pizzas do that to a motherfucker every now and then. After 40 minutes, you're pretty much like, okay, I'm getting bored here. And then you're like, wait for that. We have some 28 minutes to go. And you're like, okay, this is kind of like a double album in so many ways. But a lot of that stuff is just too much. It's not like the individual songs. I mean, take a look here. They're morely on the 4 side of things, but there are some songs with like 6, 7 minutes or whatever. But more so, it's not about the individual song lengths that are so much the problem rather than putting too much there. And it's not like too much bothers you if the songs are good. I mean, if you would have 14 times songs which are up to classics, like 80s Iron Maiden or Metallica or some newer parts of Nightwish, then go ahead and do it. I mean, Black Album by Metallica, being more than 60 minutes still goes hard, but a lot of bands don't do that. They are not able to keep your interest high up for 70 minutes, and even less so when it's like this schizophrenic thing. Now, when it comes to songwriting in general, or the production values, especially the production values are quite high up there. But I have to say, I couldn't, much like my colleague on Imperiumi, I couldn't really enjoy the vocals too much. It's almost like too soft spoken, like I'm doing a pop song. And I'm like, no, I don't want to have that pop song in my metal. Get it? So maybe some kind of a raspiness or heaviness or something like that could really work it up. But these are, of course, matters of taste. For some people who don't mind this Michael Jackson attempt of vocals, might be really cool. Like, okay, I'm gonna have it 70 minutes, bring it on. I'm gonna listen to multitude of times. I gave these 3 full spins, and I was already a little bit bored with the first one. But I have to kind of push myself through in order to find more details and figure out if, sometimes the first spin is not really the thing. Sometimes it's the third one and blah, blah, blah. But for me, I don't see this as a grower. No, don't get me wrong. I don't hate this album. Of course I don't. But I'm just saying more focus, a little bit more compressed in a way. Like cut out the trim, extra fat. Trim out the fat, that is. And this album would be better. But, of course, everybody has a little different taste and all that stuff. No, go check it out, the music. You will find links provided in the description box. And if you like something special, I wish more bands would do, or more labels would do these kind of special boxes. I love these kind of special releases. And I only hope that I could like the music even more. But I guess these guys will keep pushing on, honing their style, polishing to the next level. So who knows, maybe the next album will be the next Nightwish, and these guys will conquer the world and everything. Now, off you go to check out the music, and thanks for the label and their Finnish PR representative for this special box. Very much appreciated. So, now people, off go and listen to music and figure out if you like it or not. Thanks and bye-bye.